Governor Sununu, why don't we start with you? Well, I go back to something I said earlier. I tried to bring an openness and a control back into the financial structure of the state. We're filling the gap, we're balancing the budget, we're putting the integrated financial system in place, trying to grab control of major spending like the highways. I think that basic financial structure, which I hope governors who came after me found to be a useful tool, was there. My biggest frustration was really not getting Seabrook done earlier. I think the state would have been a lot better off if we had been able to get it finished 2 or 3 years earlier, but all the legal delays of the people who were anti-Seabrook, I think, cost the state dearly. I think at one time we estimated that the net impact on the state GNP was like $70 or $80 million a year for each year of delay. Now I'm talking about private sector impact, cost to the private sector, not to the state. And so, you know, that's what I felt went well, and what I felt didn't go well. Governor Merrill.
I grew up in Hampton, and it's interesting because the great honor that I had, I was practicing law in Manchester, was John Sununu, who called me and said, "I'd like you to be legal counsel to the governor." I didn't really know what it meant, but I thought it was a fabulous title. And I called my mother in Hampton, who was my closest friend, and I said, "Mother, you're just not going to believe this. Governor Sununu has asked me to be legal counsel to the governor." She said, "Stephen, that's wonderful. You're not going to do it, are you?" My parents thought, just stay away from that political process. She said, "Stephen, they're going to say terrible things about that." I said, "Sometimes they'll be right, Mother. It's okay." And working with Governor Sununu, who she got to know and admire, it really was interesting because when I ran for governor, I was the first governor ever to graduate from the University of New Hampshire. In all the years that we've been a state. And I thought it would be a detriment. And it was actually, it was a sense of, well, if Steve Merrill can do it, it might be able to do it. And it really was, it was a great honor to have worked my way through college, which, by the way, I sound sort of like Abe Lincoln when I tell these stories, but I thought it was horrible that I had to work my way through college. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I found out there was no free lunch. And if I wanted something, I had to be disciplined enough to work at it. And that was a great experience. And it was fun. It was fun being his legal counsel. Can you imagine? He despises lawyers. It was fabulous.
I just want to point out that when Steve said he was the first governor to graduate from UNH, it doesn't mean that we all flunked out.
Governor Merrill, do you have any regrets or anything you didn't get done that you wish you had?
It's a funny answer, and I probably will offend people, but I didn't balance my work life and my personal life very well. I just threw myself into it in a crazy way. The worst example I can give you is I went to Sunapee to do an ad for skiing, which governors do. And the top half was my parka and my ski poles and my ski hat, and I was talking into the camera. If they had panned back, I had my ski pants on and these shoes, and I was standing on a rug because I was going to go back to the legislature. I was going to go skiing for a couple of hours, which the people in New Hampshire would have said, "Go skiing, we'll probably be better at this job tomorrow." But I think I drove myself in a way that wasn't as productive. I tried to live a more balanced life as a result of it. People tell me I look younger now. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what I think John's right. I look like hell now, but I felt like hell then.
Governor Benson.
Well, I'm fortunate to be brought into the club with these two highly intelligent guys that are really capable. And I didn't get a long term in Concord, but I did make, my idea was to get up every day and have something to do because, unfortunately, I'm one day closer to my death today than saying I have tomorrow. And I said to myself, I'm going to do this so that I can look myself in the mirror and know that I maximized every minute I was there. Which did push things and did make people move more than they really were comfortable doing. But at the end of the day, the one thing that God won't give us is more time. And so we have to make the most of it. And so my regret is certainly not being able to serve the people longer. But I have no regrets about getting up in the morning and knowing that I should have done more or tried something different that I did. And I think it was really important for me to feel that way whenever I left the governor's office. And so I don't have really any regrets other than I would have liked to serve more time. And I don't really have anything that stands out in my mind except for giving you an awful lot of things to try and make this thing better. And I'll tell you one quick story. Because I was feeling good about this recently. Pretty soon we're all invited to the Capitol building to hear the new governor speak. And there are 2 rows of seats reserved for governor. Governor Sununu knows where I'm going with this. And as you get more seniority, you work your way down to the front row. And I remember saying to Governor Merrill after I was done, Steve, we still got a ways to go before we get to the front row. Because you know what? After you get to the end of the front row, there's no other place to go.
Well, that's a great way to end it. You guys have been great sports here this evening. And how about a round of applause?